Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe with notifications on.
Hi. My name is Thomas Harada, and in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you how a terrifying hair transplant that almost killed me led me to uncover a natural hair loss remedy that's been used for centuries by the brave Japanese samurai and could give anyone who uses it a full head of hair without prescription drugs, useless topical treatments, or expensive laser therapy, indefinitely without stabbing your sensitive scalp with a needle over and over again. And that's not all. I'll show you how. Even though this method has been known for centuries by the ancient Japanese civilization, long before they had access to modern medicine, there is actually scientific evidence proving that this method is 100% efficient. In the recent groundbreaking research published by a world-renowned team of scientists from the Massachusetts General Hospital and featured in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, less than 18 months ago, finally, proving this program is guaranteed to work for any men or women out there, no matter if your hair loss was caused by stress, hormonal imbalances, styling products, aging, childbirth, scalp conditions, or you simply inherited it from your parents. You see, despite what the mainstream media, together with their rookie medical writers, have led you to believe, the real reason why you haven't been able to permanently stop your hair from falling is directly linked to a dangerous glitch happening at the very top layer of your scalp tissue that's viciously breaking down your hair formation mechanism while causing almost irreversible damage to your hair follicles. But once you understand how this process works, you'll be able to repair the damage it has done to your scalp and restore every last hair you lost throughout the past 20 years. No matter how advanced your hair loss is, no matter if you're in your early 20s or late 80s, and no matter if you've been suffering from this condition for a year, 10 years, or almost all your life. So if you feel that your shiny scalp is getting more visible by the day and every doctor you've been to is telling you that there is not much you can do about it, it's all right to be skeptical right now. I understand. After all, you've been lied to and manipulated all this time and led to think that the only way to fix your thinning hair is through dangerous transplants, scalp injections, or overpriced laser therapies. But this changes now, because no matter where you are or how bad your hair loss is, and even if all this sounds too good to be true, you simply cannot afford to miss this presentation, because I promise you it will change your life. So if you want a safe and natural way to get rid of that bald crown or receding hairline, and if you're sick and tired of all the lies and deceptions the greedy hair loss industry fat cats have been feeding you all these years, then keep watching this video. I guess the end will surprise you, and it will give you the real, true solution to restore your health and strong shining hair in just a few weeks from now. Over 68,000 men and women of all ages, from all around the world, have already followed this program and naturally restored their own perfect original hair. Just listen to some of their stories. Tina Schuler, 36 years old from Chicago, says, "I've been using Rogaine foam for the past 7 months, and it's been driving me crazy. You gave me the most horrible dandruff I've ever had, let alone that my hair looked disgustingly greasy every single day of my life. It was horrible. But this is a thing of the past now. I finally regained all my hair, my precious, beautiful, strong hair that I thought I had forever lost. It's back. Thanks so much, Robert Howell, 42 years from Michigan, says, "This blew my mind. I started the program just a few days ago, and I can already see small hair shafts filling the shameful bald spot on the top of my head. I cried a little when I touched that patch and felt strong hair is poking my fingertips. I wish more people knew about this. It's liberating to leave your house without a hair topper, without feeling the wind blowing your naked scalp. Thank you so much." George Hall, 53 years old from New York, says, I've been losing my hair since I was 18, and I must have tried dozens of topical solutions as well as many supplements, drugs and pills so far. Now, I'm just thrilled that I won't have to rub my scalp with another irritating solution ever again. After all these years, I've almost given up the idea of having a normal life. I was constantly asking myself, is my hair that I was born with? So much to ask for. Now I know that nobody should be suffering from hair loss as long as this solution is still available. It literally saved my life. It's absolutely incredible how fast and efficient this actually is. Or Missa Collins, a 45-year-old from Idaho who says, after my first child, I experienced a fuse thinning. My doctor told me surgery is off limits for me as there was no donor area in my head with enough hair follicles he could harvest. I used to cry myself to sleep every night thinking my youthful years were over and all I could do was accept the idea that I'd be old and unattractive from now on. I can't tell you how it feels to have my untamed mane back. I feel like all my prayers have finally been heard, and it's all thanks to your method. Thank you so much. Stories like this are why I unveil this natural formula to help people get their hair and confidence back safely and naturally without going through painful procedures or spending their hard-earned money on dangerous and useless hair transplants. And I should know because not too long ago, I was in their shoes. You see, I've noticed my hair slightly thinning since high school, but I only realized how much it's advanced a few years ago, when my co-workers started mocking me for never taking my beanie off my head, no matter how hot it was outside. The entire office called me socket like bullies on the school playground. Our new colleagues didn't even know my real name. Socket was just perfect for me. I can't even describe how humiliated I felt when I finally built up the courage and went to the doctor. I found out my follicles are miniaturizing at a rapid pace, and the doctor prescribed me a 5% minoxidil solution together with a DHT blocking shampoo. Now, the first week I started using minoxidil, I couldn't get rid of the gruesome itching unless I washed my hair at least 2 times a day. And sometimes that wasn't enough. I felt like I just had to leave the office early, rush home, and jump directly into the shower because I had the feeling that there were 1,000 bugs biting my scalp simultaneously. Not to mention the ugly skin flakes that were coming off my head and constant weird sores in the back of my ears. And the worst part is that everyone thinks you're just an introvert weirdo who acts strange when surrounded by people. What they don't know is that you're actually a very fun, sociable person. But who in this world could possibly show their great personality while deep down knowing that the bald spots might show up any time you have to live with this shameful thought? Every single minute of every single day, you try to blend in to be a part of them. But deep inside, you know you're not like them. Careless, young, happy and free to make any move. Swim in every pool or go out in any weather. Without thinking they could end up exposed if that beanie comb over hat or top or even moves 1 inch to the left. So there I was, checking my head in the mirror every day. And all I could see was redness, dandruff, and the bald patch on the top of my head. They kept growing larger. So I went back to the doctor and asked him for another treatment. And so he did. He prescribed me hormone blockers, which he said are totally safe. And so once again, I believed them. I thought, why endure all the itching and scalp damage when I could have just asked him to prescribe some pills that would inhibit my hormone production and let my hair grow. After almost 4 months of extreme itching, pain, redness and rubbing my scalp every day with a smelly solution, giving up Monox looked like a good choice for me yet again. Boy, oh, boy, was I wrong. I think hormonal medication should come with a huge warning sign saying this will most likely hurt some way or another. So I kept taking it at the same time every day with a big glass of water, religiously following what the doctor said. Now, it's quite embarrassing for me to tell you what happened next, and I wouldn't if I didn't know. This could save your dignity. One day after the torturous months of being on these useless pills, I decided to go to a party. And somehow, luck was on my side that day as I was dancing with this pretty blue-eyed brunette. We started kissing, and one thing led to another. I invited her to my apartment. She said yes. And in all fairness, how couldn't she? After all, I was a funny guy. Somewhere beneath that falling hair, I knew how to make a woman laugh. But then things started taking a horrible, horrible turn. As we were about to take our clothes off, she began rubbing my hair. And all of a sudden, a big chunk of my hair from my head got stuck between her fingers. Apparently, the medication I was under not only didn't work but it was actually speeding up the process of losing what hair I had left. Needless to say, she looked at me in disgust and rushed out the door. I never saw her again. This was truly one of the most humiliating experiences of my entire adulthood. On top of it, all the hair left on my head was now thinning even faster than before. I saw the doctor. It was so painful to me to think that just 6 months earlier I had been so angry at my repulsive, visible scalp, and now I would give away all my money just to have that amount of hair back. I was more anxious than ever. As you can imagine, I made another appointment with my doctor to find out why my shedding was getting worse. Despite religiously taking hateful pills that messed up my body and brought me to a point I was balder than a newborn. Now, let me tell you, my doctor didn't seem surprised at all. Apparently everyone comes back with the same problem. Naive as I am, I asked why. Because people don't follow the prescriptions properly and you know it's about your lifestyle or it might be genetics. The truth is, when it comes to hair loss, most of us are just playing doctors, he said to me. I was shocked and angered by what he was saying. They were just playing doctor on my health and sanity, and he was just telling me this now. I thought maybe I was lucky enough to get the worst doctor in the area. So I joined a hair growth support Facebook group to see if other people were going through the same thing. It was no surprise to me when I heard people saying their doctors changed their treatments countless times and any new method came with a massive shed of hair right at the start. Now, I have to admit, many doctors warn their patients about the initial shit. But what's the point in getting a treatment that worsens your condition in the first place and leaves you praying it will work enough to at least restore the hair you've lost because of it? Even the fanciest, most expensive hair treatments have the same super ability of doing absolutely nothing in the long term. And as a bonus, you also get an increased risk of infection and injury. Okay, so what am I supposed to do now? I asked my doctor. I swear he didn't even wait for me to finish the question when he started telling me about this hair transplant. That will almost give me supernatural hair growth in no time, and I'll be able to throw all my pills, creams and potions out the window if I wanted to. Well, it all sounded magical, but getting scalp surgery. What if something happens during the process? I don't care if it's the safest, simplest surgery in the world. It's my health we're talking about here. So I went home and started digging for info, hoping I'll find something absolutely horrible that can serve as the perfect excuse to chicken out of the whole thing. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. In less than 5 minutes, I found dozens of articles and hair-raising forum threads with detailed explanations about failed hair transplants and scalp reductions, horrible infections, bleeding, damaged nerves, unbearable pains, numbness, or lack of sensation on the treated areas of the scalp and a high possibility you'll shed all of the implanted hairs and all that for the tiny premium price of just $12,000. Just reading other people's experiences gave me cold shivers down my back. But I was so desperate I actually started tricking myself into believing that through some kind of miracle, a hair transplant would work for me better than it did for the poor, unlucky people on those forums. I wish I had known about this natural formula before the terrible accident that nearly got me killed right under the surgeon's eyes. Because you see, desperate people do desperate things. And so I moved on with the hair transplant in spite of everything I read online. There I was at the hair clinic with my whole scalp under local anesthesia as they injected lidocaine into it. So I don't feel any point in needle poking my head. Now, the doctors kept assuring me that it will all go smoothly so I don't have to worry about anything. And I believe them. But not 2 minutes into the procedure that was supposed to last for 8 hours despite the local anesthetic, I started feeling a little bit dizzy. "Are you all right?" said the doctor to me. I didn't even get to answer him when he interrupted me, asking for his colleague. "Come take a look at this. Does it seem normal to you? It's all red and swollen," he said to the other doctor, pointing to what I felt to be the small portion of my head where they started inserting the needle. "Sir, I don't feel so well," I gasped, scaring the doctor, and then I blacked out. Next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital that afternoon while a nurse was checking in on me and the doctors whispering outside my room. Something terrible had happened at the beginning of the hair transplant procedure that caused a severe allergic reaction on my head. The doctors initially thought it was due to the anesthetic, but it was something else much worse. Apparently, my allergic reaction was due to the metal from which the needle was made of, which is something I would have never in a million years imagined possible. Even with all the bad reviews that I read online about this procedure, when the doctors told me, I was in complete shock. So you go there. You read all these things online and you say to yourself, these people are crazy. I'm sure it'll be fine. And for a minute, it actually is. And then something completely unexpected happens. You almost die. And it's because of something you have never thought possible. Luckily, I am still alive and able to share this with you, but it was indeed the most terrifying moment in my life. So you can imagine my shame and horror when my family found out that I could have died. I was already sunk in depression, and I wouldn't leave the house for weeks after the incident. Even my father was trying to convince me it could happen to anyone just to get me out of the bed and go on with my life. One morning I heard my bedroom door bang open against the wall, and there he was, my father with my luggage in his hand telling me to get up and get going. "Where?" I asked. "To your granddad. He said he's going to do something about your hair, even if it's the last thing he does." You see, I come from a long line of people of Japanese descent, and I'm as proud as can be of my roots in Japanese culture. The hair of a man symbolizes his status and rank in society, while for women, on the other hand, it is their crowning glory and it shows their great health. Back in the 15th century, for the samurai warriors, cutting their hair was something extremely sensitive. It was a grand gesture that marked dishonor, shame and banishment from their families and homes. They were extremely proud of their hair and often practiced a sacred ritual to keep it protected and strong. My grandfather was part of this long line of respected samurai warriors, and even though this beautiful civilization is now gone, their blood still runs through many of the respected Japanese families today. My grandfather was truly one of the last of his kind. Every time my father, my mother and I would go to visit him in the small Japanese village where he was living, he was always showing off his long, thick, shining hair. It's what gave our ancestors courage and strength. My grandfather would always say, looking at his hair even in his late 70s, his health and hair were absolutely stunning. That's why when my hair first started to fall, I was so ashamed. I didn't even want to tell my family about it. Thinking of how proud my grandfather was about our family's roots and their long history of great hair. Unfortunately, in our modern days, we have lost touch with the ancient healing methods that our ancestors used. They did not have an army of greedy doctors, $1 billion pharma corporation to profit on the innocent. They relied solely on the sacred teachings passed from generation to generation. So the next morning, my granddad woke me up and told me everything was set up. I went outside and all I found was a glass full of a strange liquid that he made for me. I asked him, "What's this for?" "It's to help your hair," he said. "Drink this every morning and you'll start seeing the effects very soon." I raised an eyebrow, but I drank it anyway, and to be honest, it was surprisingly tasty. The last thing I expected. A few days passed with me performing the same little ritual each morning. At first I didn't notice any major changes. Only the fact that I was feeling more energetic and my anxiety vanished. For some reason, a little more time had passed, and even though I could see my existing hair was stronger, while no more hair fell off, I still didn't see anything new on my bald spots. Well, at least I won't be balder than I am now. I said to my grandfather in disappointment, "Give it a little more time, Tommy son." My grandfather said to me with his near-perfect English accent. And then something extremely interesting happened as I touched my bald spots, which had become a habit for me. I noticed it didn't feel shiny and smooth anymore. In fact, it felt like little sharp stabs on my fingers. Then I looked in the mirror. I was stunned. There it was. New hair shafts were beautifully starting to grow on my bald spots. Then, day by day, my hair was growing more and more, and there were new follicles everywhere on my head. It was absolutely incredible. In just a few weeks, I had grown a full head of hair. My skin looked amazing. My nails were brighter than ever. I even managed to rid myself of an ugly toenail fungus that had been plaguing me for a while. There was no more dandruff, no more shampooing my hair twice a day. To escape the madness of that itchy scalp, no more redness or crustiness on my head. My hair had fully grown, and it was absolutely shining. When I wanted to thank my grandfather for his help, he told me, "You know what's sad right now? Scientists are discovering the same things that we, the Japanese people in our samurai culture, have known for centuries. If we went out and said it, people would think of us as crazy old fools. But if a scientist says it, it must be true. Tom, my son, you now live in another world. When you have a problem, you go to the doctor who gives you pills. Some of those pills create other problems, and then you take more pills. Getting caught in a whirlpool you can't escape from. But worst of all is that you choose this life yourself. If I had come to you before the accident and told you, follow this method and you'll get perfect hair again, would you have listened? No. You would have thought I was insane. Because you trusted modern medicine more than your own heritage. Now, when your medicine disappoints you so brutally, you're willing to give the samurai remedies a try. And now you'll see what you've missed all these years. All I can tell you is that I was blown off my feet. As soon as I got home, I decided to do a little research and see what's behind my grandfather's formula. There had to be a scientific reason behind it, and I was going to discover it. I started to read every newspaper, scientific journal, and research report related to hair loss that came into my hands. Of course, all studies led me to the same FDA-approved lifesaver that we all know about, minoxidil. It felt so impossible to find anything else. I almost gave up. Then one day I stumbled upon an old internet archive. There was a 17-page document that mentioned minoxidil and its effects, and then another 3 pages that looked like a draft, even with photos of handwritten sketches. The strange part was that none of the last 38 pages even mentioned minoxidil, and as I continued to read, there was a good reason for that. So listen up, because here is where things get very interesting. As you probably know, your hair comes from hair follicles, which are tiny but complex individual organs buried into your scalp, just like any other structure of your body. The growing hair follicle is surrounded by a network of arteries and veins which supply it with nutrients, vitamins and minerals. Scientists have observed that the blood supply is an essential component of successful hair follicle growth, maturation and maintenance. That's how minoxidil works. The first 17 pages of the study thoroughly explained how this substance, which was previously used for balancing high blood pressure, was able to keep your hair alive by relaxing the muscles in the walls of your blood vessels from your scalp. Once your blood vessels widen, your blood pressure decreases and allows blood and oxygen to circulate more freely around your scalp. But the experiment shows that once the subjects were offered The blood flow got back to its normal course and the new hairs disappeared too. As I continued reading, it got scarier. Reduced sexual functions, abnormal heart rhythm, eczema and changes in vision were just a few of the side effects among the minoxidil test group. And the list goes on. Now, these scientists knew that the blood full of oxygen and nutrients is what is responsible for the growth and strength of the hair. And they knew that more blood to the scalp means more hair. But the question remained if even with all those side effects, having more blood to the scalp is good for hair regeneration and growth. Then how come all subjects, with zero exception, lost every single hair follicle they gained after they stopped using this substance? What was actually happening? Now, after countless trials and errors, they observed something incredible. People with hair loss actually had fewer blood vessels embedded in their scalp. What they noticed was that it's not about the strength of your blood vessels, nor is it about the blood flow levels on your head. But actually something much, much more important. The actual number of the blood vessels. You see, everyone thought that taking more nutrient-filled blood and sending it to the hair would help it grow. And sure, at some level they were right. But sending more blood to an already crowded highway of blood vessels is like adding more cars on a crowded highway. Instead of actually adding more lanes, because what your body does, it already sends blood to the roots of your hair. It already nourishes it. And this may sound hard to believe, but your body and brain are smart. They don't overcrowd a network of limited blood vessels. Your brain knows that by doing this, it will create heavy imbalances inside your body. So it tries to make the best of it with what it has. But unfortunately, this is not enough. And since your scalp has less of these blood pathways running through and supplying your hair and head skin with essential nutrients, things like dandruff, itching, skin rashes and the worst falling hair show up. And it's not your body or hair turning against you. It's just your scalp and hair is desperate. Cry for help. Now, going back to the study, scientists wanted to know what exactly causes some people to have less hair regeneration blood vessels on their head. So they found out that there was this tiny yet extremely powerful protein missing inside all test subjects that were suffering from hair loss. This protein was, in fact, responsible for the formation of new blood vessels and also helped restore the blood supply to the scalp cells and tissues. On the 29th page of the study, there is evidence that could. Shiro Yano, a well-known Japanese scientist and dermatology professor at Massachusetts General Hospital, and his colleagues, compared two groups of subjects, a control group and one experimentally, which they determined to produce an abundance of this protein. The hair growth protein enhanced participants grew hair faster and thicker in the first 2 weeks than did the control group. Apparently this underrated protein held the key to thick hair, and even though they didn't have the exact science back then, the brave Japanese samurai somehow got it right and knew how to keep their hair strong and thick. Because that's exactly what my grandfather's formula did for me. And as I continued my research, I finally understood why the ingredients he used attack the problem on two fronts. First, they had the ability to balance the blood pressure at the scalp level, allowing the existing blood vessels to dilate, which led to a better absorption of nutrients. And second, they had the ability to boost this little-known protein and create brand new blood vessels to feed and nourish the scalp while helping regrow the lost hair. All this with zero side effects, as my grandfather's formula is 100% natural and plant-based. Now, as I looked over the first ingredient, this one did sound familiar to me. It was a rare species of Japanese hawthorn. Now, legend says that this rare herb was given to a samurai only after proving his courage and becoming a part of the form. Japan's top elite called shimon. Shimon was the only caste in Japanese society granted the privilege of having two names and cultivating the species of hawthorn. Their hair used to become so thick by the powers of the shiny green leaves they had to tie their hair with knots twisted rope. After gaining the privilege to use it in their food, in fact, hawthorn is an extremely powerful blood pressure regulator. which has been used to treat scalp and skin disease as far back as the 1st century. Both dilates and relaxes your cranial veins, so more oxygen-rich blood reaches your scalp, and also provides a good source of vitamin C, which is a well-known stimulator for this hair growth. Protein. The next on my grandfather's list was hibiscus, in the Japanese language of flowers known as hanakataba. The hibiscus means gentle, and it is well known as a powerful anti-inflammatory, superfood and blood pressure regulator. It's a natural energizer and protects your follicles from shrinking. The 2003 study indicated that a leaf extract of hibiscus roses and incense positively affected hair length and hair follicles in 100% of the subjects. It was proven that besides efficiently stopping hair loss, it makes your hair look healthy and lustrous. Preventing premature graying. It also helps with increasing hair diameter, which automatically leads to more volume. Reading all this, it all made sense now. My grandfather's list had 10 more ingredients, all with amazing hair rejuvenation properties. All these ingredients combined in these specific quantities also have a role in forming a barrier and protecting you against the devastating effects of long-term hair loss. It helps you balance your blood pressure, boosts your immunity, protects your skin and nails, and surges your energy levels. It also helps fight insomnia and even significantly lower your risk of heart problems and age-related memory loss diseases. Reading all this information blew my mind. I was extremely excited to take this formula to my doctor and show him that it's actually possible to restore your hair without the surgery. That almost ended my life. I told him everything, how my hair had kept falling out, no matter what I tried, and how I almost died because of an allergic reaction to the hair transplant needle, and how I ended up following a samurai program that fixed my bald and crown in just 3 days. I showed him everything my granddad showed me. I was waiting for a while, and oh my god. But all I got was a disgusted look and a speech that left me in awe. My doctor told me this was old news. A bunch of scientists already checked out these traditional methods and confirmed they worked. But no one wants to hear about them now. There are new ways now. There are transplanted follicular units and modern technology. And if I want to follow these ancient methods, maybe I should go back to the village I came from, because I'm not fit for the big city life. I was puzzled. On one hand, I wanted to punch you in the face. On the other hand, I knew he was so caught up in his modern reality that nothing could pull him out of it. And then it hit me. How many more people are there? Just like him? Just like I used to be. How many people trust modern medicine blindly, even though it disappointed them? Or even hurt them over and over again? Sure. Many of them, just like my doctor, simply refused to go out of their bubble and try something new. Something guaranteed to help them by hundreds of thousands of people who've kept their hair into their 90s throughout the centuries. But some of them have no clue. There are other ways, natural ways, unlike the chemical field methods they are so blatantly promoting. And if they knew, they'd be willing to give it a shot and see the incredible results by themselves. So after thinking it through, I decided to cheat the system and share this formula my own way without their help. I'll admit it wasn't easy at all. I needed something very easy to follow, and my grandfather told me that in order for this to work, the ingredients had to come from specific places, and the recipe needed to be 100% pure. So I asked my father to help me find what I was looking for. After weeks of research, we found the right company to help us with this. We had the formula and knew how it worked, so we needed to make sure the ingredients were sourced in a way to maintain the necessary high quality. To be honest, this was extremely difficult. There are a lot of folks out there just trying to profit on your goodwill. People trying to make a quick buck who don't care about the quality of the ingredients they sell. My father and I searched in every corner of the world until we found the right sources for these ingredients. We only wanted to work with certified manufacturers to make sure that we get top quality ingredients. It was an excruciating job. It took us several weeks, but we finally did it. I cried like a child as I was holding the formula that made me a normal human being again. It was my honor to introduce Trigger for the all-natural samurai formula that rejuvenates your hair follicles and gives you back your lost hair. Without drugs, dangerous surgery or expensive therapies, in just a matter of weeks. Now, you probably have two questions at this point. How do I get my hands on this incredible natural formula? And when? And in what quantities should I take this supplement? I'll admit it's hard for me to answer the first question. The truth is, most of the ingredients used to make this formula are really difficult to source, which makes our ability to keep high stocks of Trichofol on hand almost impossible. Everyone that has already tested Trichofol and restored their hair keeps asking us for more bottles for themselves and for their families and friends. Basically making our stock run out in days every time we get a new shipment. And very important, we produce Trichofol in small batches only once we run out. You'll have to wait another 3 months. This way we can keep the quality of our product high so it will be 100% efficient. Since you're here right now, your product is reserved. But if you leave this page we cannot guarantee that we'll still have a supply on hand when you come back. Now, before I answer the second question, when and in what quantities you should take this supplement, there is something very important you need to know. Making this formula work for you depends a lot on what your goal is, what the severity of your hair loss is, and how affected your scalp. Blood Vessels Network is based on the test we made with our partnering labs on 5,992 men and women. While looking at the severity of their hair loss and the condition of their scalp circulation, I must say the results were shockingly bad. So our safe response to this is don't risk it after seeing the results of 68,000 people from all over the world, for everyone that suffers from hair loss. We recommend taking at least 3 bottles of Trichofol for a period of 90 days. And if you want to be completely safe and don't take any chances, then we recommend at least 6 bottles or more. This way you'll be absolutely sure you restore your healthy hair. Naturally, people like you and me, well, we have long forgotten how amazing these remedies can be. But the descendants of those samurai still guard the secrets of nature and use them to stay healthy and strong all throughout their lives. This hair restoration formula that I have tested myself and tens of thousands of other people is so powerful that it can restore your hair in a few weeks. Once you restore your scalp's blood vessels, you will not have to deal with this embarrassing problem ever again in your life. And there are 68,000 people and counting who've tried it ever since I started spreading the word. I get dozens of messages from them every single day telling me about their incredible results. Michael Dane, 38 years old from Arizona, says, "You were right, Thomas. I thought to myself that I'd never follow the program through, just like I never do with any treatment. But this one worked great on me. But I kept doing more and more until I got the bald area from the top of my head, all covered in new hairs in 3 weeks, like you said. I honestly thought it was a joke. A good one, really. But then all my hair grew stronger and thicker. And finally, I am no longer ashamed by it. It's an amazing world out there knowing that no matter in which direction the wind blows, your hair will look amazing. Thank you so much." Hannah Lane, 32-year-old teacher from Wyoming says, "Oh, dear. I look back and think, seriously, all those failed hair treatments, all those nights crying myself to sleep, and for what? Why go through all that trouble? And this is so much more comfortable. And you don't even realize when the program is over and you're all fixed. I'm still in shock. My hair is stronger and thicker than ever." Gary Schmidt, 64-year-old retired veteran, says, "I was saving money to get surgery. And then I saw this and gave it a try. By surgery, I now have a full head of hair and a few $1,000s that I won't be spending on doctors and recovery. That's for sure. Thanks a million. You saved me from the worst mistake of my life." These are just 3 of the amazing 68 Oh folks who have tried the incredible samurai hair restoration program since I put this video up, in my inbox is full of messages just like these from people who just can't believe they've grown back their hair naturally. Right now, they're not wearing toppers or hats anymore, nor do they have to fake a pathetic comb over. And the best thing is that they finally got rid of all the shame and humiliation and even fear that others would perceive them like an unhealthy old man or woman. And as a bonus, they stopped wasting money on useless prescriptions, doctors' scalp lotions and dangerous hormonal medication. And that's why it was so hard to put a price on it, because for me, it's more about spreading the word than it is about the money. But unfortunately, in these days, even sharing a revolutionary method like this one doesn't come free. Putting together a system, making the website, spreading it on the internet, and even putting aside some money just in case we'll ever have to fight those people who are so desperately trying to get the formula removed off the internet. All these things are expensive. To be honest, at first I had no idea how to proceed. So after consulting with my grandfather, I decided to make this video and put it up on the internet. So here's how you can be 100% sure the samurai program is the real deal, and the results are just as good as promised. First of all, it will cost you pennies compared to all the other alternatives. I am completely against overpriced products because I know exactly what it's like to be tricked into buying expensive stuff. That does squat for your problem. But as it's already been proved, this is a solution like no other. To be honest, some internet experts recommended charging $247 for the program that's able to actually restore your hair. My face probably twisted in an unnatural way because they rushed to tell me I could charge even more. If $247 isn't enough for me because the product is really good and it would sell anyway. And yet I wanted to charge the minimum possible, and I mean the tiniest price they could possibly come up with. Of course, they looked at each other like I was insane and tried to convince me I could get riches, fame and a special place in paradise with my name written in gold letters. But I kept insisting they come up with the minimal price. So they did as I wished. The result of this productive little talk is that right now I'm able to tell you you won't have to pay $247 or $147 or even $99. I'm happy to say that today you can finally restore your hair follicles naturally and get a 30-day supply of Trichofol for just $69 and not a penny more. This money will be used to keep the website up and running, pay the tech team behind the video, and a little surprise for you. A special customer service team that will be here for you 24/7 to help you with any questions or dilemmas you may have about the program. They know everything there is to know about this solution. Most of them have already tried it and are now enjoying their scalp fully covered in thick, shiny hair. You can ask them anything that crosses your mind, and I'm going to do something even better. Our manufacturing partner gave us permission to offer a discount on the 6-bottle package of Trichofol. You can get them for only $49 per bottle, and you also get free shipping for as long as the supply lasts. Now, if this sounds good for you, here's what you need to do next. Select the 6-bottle package or any other package you want. Hit the button below and fill the form on the other page. Once you've secured your order, in a few short days from now, you'll get like a full right at your doorstep. This program is about to turn your life around. So here's what I'm going to do next. Once you've selected your package below, hit the order button and secure your order. You're going to get a 60-day money-back guarantee on Trichofol, no questions asked. No hassle. No red tape if you don't experience great results with this formula. If you are not excited and happy that you can finally see new hairs all over your scalp and just feel the joy that a normal person does when he or she looks in the mirror, then just send me an email and I will refund your entire investment without asking any questions and with no hard feeling whatsoever. Just imagine this: in almost no time you'll be feeling the first results. And let me tell you, they feel good. Suddenly you'll find yourself actually enjoying social interaction without constantly having your naked scalp in the back of your mind, stopping you from seeing the wonderful things around you and forcing you to wear hats or toppers just to be able to feel like a normal person. Or simply to be able to get out of the house without feeling exposed. You end up believe that's just normal. They say it comes with age or maybe being blessed with the wrong genes. But once you start this program, you'll see for yourself that having hair on your head can be achieved effortlessly. And it's the most natural thing in the world. In just 30 short days, you'll throw your head covers in the bottom of the drawer and forget about them forever. And then when you look in the mirror for a quick check before leaving the house, you'll be impressed to see that you've regained your good looks and charisma without putting in any special effort, without surgery or medication. And I bet you $100 right now that those funny colleagues of yours who used to make fun of your misfortune will stare at you in shock because they simply can't understand how you turned back the clock on your hair. That's how powerful the samurai solution is. And it's absolutely amazing that after so many centuries, it still works like a Swiss watch. Better than any other option out there, ranging from the most expensive topical treatments to surgical interventions. Right now, the most incredible hair loss solution is one click away from you, one tiny second. Just click on the button below and we'll have the package sent to your door. You have a full 60-day money-back guarantee that protects your investment the whole time. So there's no risk whatsoever. Although when you think of what you're risking here compared with what you spend on one single visit to the dermatologist, not including the cost of all the solutions and pills that most likely have little to no effect, this is a one-time fee for a program that will last you for years to come, if not for a lifetime. But even so, it's a guaranteed risk-free program. So you don't have to worry about a thing when you press that button. As I said before, the only thing you lose is your collection of useless hair products from your bathroom vanity drawer. But what you gain, your thick mane and confidence back in just 4 weeks, completely naturally without any side effects. Well, I think that can compensate for your loss at least 100 times. Now, look, this isn't a decision you need to sleep on. It's either restoring your hair now or slowly going bald for the rest of your life. Right now, you have to choose between seeing perfectly in just 3 short days from now, or spend your whole life buying toppers because your scalp keeps getting more visible. Think about your looks. Think about your love life, your career, your confidence, your life path. Why force yourself to go through this when you can choose the easy way, the natural way that restores your hair effortlessly and also dirt cheap if you compare it to any other method? So don't waste another second. Select the 6 bottles package or any other package you want. Click on the button below and get all your hair back now and after you've successfully tried it. I can't wait to hear about your results. Still here? No worries. I understand. Especially given the amazing secrets that I have revealed in this presentation. So here is what I'm going to do. Let me answer some of the most important questions we receive about Trichofol so you can go ahead and select one of the packages below with full confidence. Is Trichofol all right for me? I'll admit I get this question quite often, And the answer is always the same. If you suffer from hair thinning and haven't been able to stop the deterioration of your follicles, then Trichofol is definitely right for you. The root cause of your hair loss is the lack of enough blood vessels at your scalp level, which is causing your peripheral circulation to decrease to the level where your hair follicles shrink and die. Fortunately, Japanese scientists have found a protein called VEGF that has the ability to increase the number of blood vessels from your scalp. So the oxygen and nutrient-rich blood can reach your dormant follicles and bring it back to life. The key in activating this powerful protein in your body is a set of natural compounds found in some specific traditional Japanese dishes and known by the samurai for centuries. Trichofol is a 100% natural supplement which contains all the powerful ingredients from these superfoods, plus a mix of specific vitamins to boost its power. Once you start taking Trichofol, you'll be able to fix your VEGF and ultra boost your scalp peripheral circulation so your hair follicles can get the oxygen, vitamins and nutrients it needs in order to grow and thicken. And your scalp has enough blood vessels to sustain a full head of hair. Your hairline will start to improve in almost no time, and your bald spots will grow thick, strong hair you deserve from the moment you were born. Is true or false? Safe to use? Extremely. So Trichofol has been successfully tested by more than 68,000 men and women from all over the world with absolutely no reported side effects. Well, maybe the only side effect is you keeping your money in your pockets and not funding big pharma shady business Trichofol addresses. The real root cause of your hair loss in an extremely safe and natural way. Now of course, if you suffer from allergies or other certain medical conditions at this very moment, we strongly advise that you consult with your doctor first. How should I use Trichofol in order to achieve optimal results? We recommend you take 2 power capsules after breakfast, lunch or dinner daily with a big glass of water. It should provide you with the necessary energy intake as well as extra protection against the dangerous scalp blood vessel shortage that shrinks your hair follicles. What do you mean by risk-free guarantee? We are so confident our formula will help you restore your bald spots that we decided to give a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee where you secure your order today. Every single bottle of Trichofol comes with my personal promise. It will work for you in our 60-day 100% money-back guarantee. Even if you're only 99% satisfied and you don't want Trichofol anymore, send us an email and we'll refund every penny you invested, no questions asked. No hassle, no red tape. For how long will Trichofol still be available? First of all, you should know that the only place you can get Trichofol is right here on this page. As for how long Trichofol will still be available on this page, I'm not really sure. History has shown us that the hair loss industry fat cats are not going to sit on the bench and watch as their margins turn into dust. They'll spend as much money as they need in legal fees to shut down this site. This may be your last chance to get Trichofol. The choice is up to you, of course, but I wouldn't wait. This website might be gone even if you accidentally hit the refresh button. Why haven't I heard of this before? So far, this Japanese secret has never left the community, which has used it for centuries. It's been passed and secretly guarded from generation to generation. First of all, the descendants of the samurai aren't extremely connected with the modern world we live in. And secondly, because most people would instantly reject this program because they blindly trust today's medicine. There was actual scientific evidence in a recent groundbreaking research published by a world-renowned team of scientists from the Harvard Medical School proving this is guaranteed to work for anyone. If you're like me and modern medicine has disappointed you over and over again, promised you results that never happened or worse, burdened you with horrific side effects, then this natural program is right for you. What happens after I click the buy button? Once you click on the link below, you'll be redirected to our secure order page where your package awaits. Once you finish your order, which will not take you more than 60 seconds, we will ship the package directly to your door. Then you can restore your beautiful appearance in just a few short days with just 1 glass of water and 2 capsules per day. I hope I answered all your remaining questions, and by now you can safely and confidently order your own supply of Trichofol today. Also, I feel like it's my duty to confess that in order to achieve the best results, my personal recommendation for you is to choose either the 6 or at least 3 bottle package. So go ahead and secure your package. Now fill in the shipping details on the other side and start enjoying the benefits Trichofol has prepared for you. I look forward to hearing your success story.